My name's Jacob. This is my assessment 2 with the case study presentation, looking at client factors and the behavioural change techniques associated with them. The first client factor that I've identified is that the client had heart failure. So upon searching, found one particular behavioural change technique that had a positive effect, and that was goal setting, specifically goal setting behaviour, which had an effect size of 0.56 and a 95% confidence interval of 0.03 to 1.08. Essentially interpreting this, it means the effect size is moderate, and because that confidence interval doesn't cross zero, the effect is positive. So essentially we know there's a moderate effect with the intervention, and that effect is positive, so it's a good thing. To apply this, essentially we want to agree on a defined behaviour with the client. So for example here, we'd like the client to do a daily walk with the dog for at least 10 minutes. We want to build that over time though to better meet physical activity guidelines. This not only links to the evidence, but it also links with client's routine and goals and previous activities, because the client used to do walking a fair bit, has a dog, loves a dog. So therefore it not only relates to the client specifically, also links back to the evidence. Our second client factor was obesity, so they're in an obese population, and looking at the paper here, I found that behavioural practice and rehearsal had good evidence. Had good evidence that it was effective, and we should use it in our intervention. So its p-value was 0.057, which basically means that we can be confident that the intervention had an effect and it wasn't due to random chance, and the confidence interval doesn't cross zero, and it's on the positive side, so we know that the effect that it had was there and it was good. To the application, we're going to prompt the client to set a time on a stopwatch, so that can be done on their phone or a watch itself, however they'd like to do it, to actually see how long they've been walking for. So for the 10-minute walk, we want them to set a timer to walk for 5 minutes and walk back and actually see that time as they finish. In this paper as well, we did see that one behavioural change technique had a negative effect, which was self-monitoring behaviour. As you can see, it doesn't cross zero, but the effect is negative. So we want to avoid self-monitoring behaviour for this client. And the third client factor here is the fact that the client is an older adult. Here we've got the behavioural change technique of action planning. Statistics are a little bit different in this paper, but we can still get useful information from it. So we've got a d-value, which is essentially effect size, which is moderate to large. And we've also got a z-score, which essentially means how far away from the mean it is. The z-score of 2.9 means it's 2.9 away from the standard deviation. Away from the mean rather. So we have a moderate to a large effect size and a positive z-score. So meaning the intervention was positive. To apply this, we're going to prompt the client to plan how they're going to get the walk done. So plan the time for each walk. So this would be a client-led thing, but for example, we'd want to go, okay, we're going to do it first thing in the morning, or we might do it after work if we can't make it in the morning, or we're going to plan to do it after we've made coffee or tea, something like that. Just a planned thing in the book of when we're going to achieve this. Action planning as well was also an effective intervention for heart failure population, so it's worth noting here. So we could technically justify having action planning for two reasons, for two client factors, but here we're going to have it in for older adults because we've already got effective BCT for heart failure.